This episode is presented by State Farm. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing the protection of an offensive guard on the football field, but getting an elementary school crossing guard. Sure, they're both guards, but you can only trust one to keep your quarterback safe when the game is on the line. So don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
And welcome back, everyone, to a brand new episode of the Skating Penguin Network. It is the evening of December 30th. This is our final Skating Penguin Network episode of 2025, and it is going to be a double feature recap episode as the Penguins are back from Christmas break, and they are back in a big, big way to wrap up this calendar year. But before we dive into those two games, as always, I am joined by Snail on the other end of the line out in Seattle. Snail, a lot has happened since the last time we talked. We talked pre-Christmas, so before we dive into hockey, how was Christmas in the Snail household for 2025?
Yeah, it's good to be back, Robbie. Christmas was a success. I think everyone was plenty happy with their gifts, both given and received. We, split time at a couple different houses and kind of did our we kind of strayed from our typical Christmas Eve tradition, which we don't do traditionally in our house. We don't stray from tradition, unless COVID got involved for sure. But we usually watch a Christmas movie on Christmas Eve, and this year we did not. We watched. We actually tuned into that series, the second season of Fallout. I don't know if you're familiar with the video game franchise. Yeah, it's a great show. So we actually watched that because there had been an episode that had dropped. I don't know if it was that day or the day before, something really, really soon around there. Yeah. So we just watched that, and it was fine. I actually ended up going to a bar and met up with a buddy whose mom was in from out of town. And one of my buddies, his family doesn't live around here. They live east of the Cascades over on the other side of the state. So yeah, spent time with my family, my partner's family, and a couple buddies and their moms. So it was nice, man. It was a cozy Christmas, but yeah, can't complain. And we'll get to the hockey soon enough, but how was it out east, Robbie? How was Christmas out in the Noggle household?
It was really good. We're like your family. We don't stray too far from tradition unless it would be dictated by something else. And this year was kind of the exact same. Christmas, the 23rd, we actually had my dad's side of the family. Our family Christmas, which is usually a few days before just because of work and other commitments and stuff like that. We have some cousins that live out of town. We have some family members that work healthcare jobs and can't necessarily guarantee they're off on the 25th. So we did that. The 24th was basically we went out for, we'll call it brunch. It was more lunch than anything, but we went out for brunch on the 24th. Did that, and then by the time we got home, just wrapped up a few presents. Our Christmas Eves are relatively pretty chill, nothing too much going on. We don't really do anything. Maybe I watch It's a Wonderful Life myself. Classic movie, obviously. But then not too much else. And then Christmas Day, family on my mom's side. And then other than that, we had another family Christmas on Saturday with some out of town folks. And then pretty much since then, it's just been relaxing and enjoying some downtime, some slow time. I woke up yesterday, and I honestly had to look at the calendar like 3 or 4 times throughout the day to remember what day it was exactly. It was definitely it's that time of year where everything kind of just meshes together, and it all feels confusing, and you're not quite sure what day or time it is. But no, it's been chill, relaxed, just been enjoying some time away from the busyness of life. So overall, really good here. And we finally, or about a week late, we got Christmas weather here. It is cold, it is snowy, it is windy, but
the weather outside is frightful.
It is, and all together, it is Pennsylvania in December, so I shouldn't be surprised by it. But it definitely got cold quick here. So no, just you know,
Very nice.
Yeah, very fun Christmas, very enjoyable.
You said you got brunch, Robbie. I'm curious. So like we'll go through this quick, but
yeah,
a lot of I've heard of traditions where like our family used to on Christmas Eve, we go to get Chinese food on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
That's what we traditionally used to do. But then the good Chinese family spot, they actually retired and went back to China. So good for them. Lived the American dream and got out while the getting was good. So we've been kind of just doing like, random, we try to do something for a snack on like, go pick something up.
Yeah.
This year did not transpire that way. You said you guys went to brunch. What is that a tradition you guys stick to? Like what's the Christmas Eve kind of meal look like?
No, I don't say that's really a tradition. It just worked out this year. Generally, Christmas Eve is pretty quiet for us just in general. It just so happened to work out that we could go get brunch that day and then kind of just chill the rest of the day. But Christmas Eve's kind of like take it as it comes kind of day, wrap up some final presents, just relax before the business and the next day. Watch a movie.
Spiked eggnog.
Yeah, I don't like eggnog, so I can't. I won't partake in that. But no, it's just more or less a take it as it comes kind of day. And we had time to go for a bite to eat, and we did that. Nice. And yeah, it was a successful Christmas Eve, relaxing all together. And yeah, that was that. Christmas was good here. It sounds like Christmas was good out on the Pacific. In the Pacific Northwest. You mentioned, I mean, out there, you guys should have some pretty good Chinese spots or Asian cuisine.
Yeah, we do, man. It's pretty nice out here. So I don't know if you guys have this, but I heard from one of my buddies that we have teriyaki out here, and my buddy was like, they don't have teriyaki in other parts of the country.
I mean, we have stuff that's called teriyaki. I don't want to say it's like what he is describing. I'm sure out there, you guys, I mean, the Pacific Coast, you have a lot of Asian influence from immigrants over the years. We don't have, I mean, we have Chinese spots and we have like sushi spots. Now, I don't know, I can't say we have true teriyaki, but we have stuff that's called teriyaki. But like, if it's authentic, I can't vouch for that. I'm sure there's some cities, like bigger cities on the East Coast that have it. But as in like Pittsburgh, Western PA, I don't want to say how authentic it is. But we have stuff that has the word teriyaki on it.
Like menu items or like establishments?
Menu items. I don't know if we have like a place that's called teriyaki. At least,
well, like here in every strip mall around here, there's some place that's called like something teriyaki. Like Ichiban teriyaki.
We did at one point. It was called like Yummy Teriyaki or something.
Okay.
But there's definitely restaurants, Chinese establishments that have like teriyaki.
Like teriyaki chicken or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, we got a lot of that.
Yeah, I'm sure out there it's probably like Starbucks, just like it is on the corner. They have it everywhere because of the Asian population out there, which I'm jealous of because I love Chinese food. I love Japanese food. I don't know if you've had Thai food.
Oh, for sure.
I love Thai food. Just Thai, I need to have like a pitcher of water sitting beside me when I take down some Thai. But no, I mean. Yeah, that and like a tank top, just because you're going to be sweating. But no, I mean out here, we don't have anything. Again, I can't say how authentic it is. If I get closer to Pittsburgh, I'm sure I have more authentic teriyaki spots. But I mean, I love Asian cuisine.
What I love, Robbie, is we have out here, and I'm sure you have. I'm sure that this is more of a nationwide thing, but I love the family style Chinese restaurants.
We have,
and it's like you don't order like a plate for yourself. Everything comes in these like heaping plates, and it's all sharing. Like you share with the table basically.
Yeah.
It's super cheap. I don't know how they do it, but everything's like I don't want to say cheap, but it's like. It's very fair price for the amount of food you're getting.
Yeah,
and you can go in there. They pour strong drinks. Like those are my favorite types of places, man. You just get all hopped up on MSG and sodium and spice and and cheap booze, and you walk out of there just grinning ear to ear, man. That's the best.
We have Chinese buffets out here.
There you go. That's awesome too.
That's just a Yeah, that is like a
That's you're
sinful
going in elbows up. You're almost wearing like gym attire. You wear like flexible waistband pants,
a
tank
bib
top, a bib, a sweatband, and you're maybe Crocs or slippers, and you're walking out of there, doing the old like full as a tick, rubbing your gut with like
you walk out like a penguin.
A penguin, yeah. You waddle out of there, and then it's straight to bed.
It's a sinful amount of food. It is, yeah, because it's like any kind of noodle you could want, any kind of rice, any kind of protein.
Oh yeah,
any kind of desserts. It's absurd. I've gone to one. They had like unlimited crab legs. I mean, the quality of the crab legs, I'm not gonna comment on those perhaps, but yeah, I mean, it's just a illegal. It feels like illegal amount of food that you
Larceny.
get, but no, Christmas was good. We're days away from the New Year.
Yeah, they call this the taint of the holiday.
Basically,
this is in between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, it is. It kind of does feel like that because it's just you're basically just like relaxing, not doing doing as little as humanly possible.
That's right.
But you're ready to turn the page. We're 2 days away. This is our last episode of 2025. You'll listen to it on New Year's Eve. But we will be going into the new year as Penguin fans feeling pretty good after how the Penguins came out of the holiday break. They do that with first off on Sunday night, their first game back. They're in Chicago, a place that has been not kind to them over the Crosby years, against good Blackhawks teams and bad Blackhawks teams. But the Penguins go in here and just run Chicago out of their own building to the tune of a 7-3 victory to get the post-holiday schedule started, and a big win because not only did they win 7-3, they got a big lead and did not blow it.
They didn't blow it, man. I will say that what's his first name?
Tyler
Bertuzzi. He had to get a cheeky little one in with about 0.8 seconds left on the clock, but the Penguins were, that was a safe lead at that point in the game, obviously. Man, they needed that. It felt like we'd been saying it. No one needed the Christmas break more than the Penguins. It felt like it just felt like they were limping in, man. And the offense exploded. And dude, the whole time, I don't remember if I texted it to you or not, or if I meant to text it to you and never got it off. But is it just prove how important Blake Lizotte is to this team?
Yeah.
No coincidence. Blake Lizotte and that fourth line get put back together with Achari and Dewar, and still no Malkin. Kevin Hayes comes out of the lineup, and you got the kid line, and then you've got Novak, I believe, going down the middle at the second line center position between the two trees and Mantha and Brazeau. And I don't know, man. It was just they were making it look hockey was easier on them. That game. And it is the Blackhawks. Say what you will, but the Blackhawks, they've had no problem spanking the Penguins when they were, in the lottery for Bedard. Like, it's like, say what you will. It's not like the Blackhawks are the Blackhawks of a couple of years ago. Like, this team they're much improved. And the Penguins needed it, man. They got a lead and they just kind of stepped on their throat. And that's what we've been wanting, over the past couple of weeks now, is just get a lead and just dummy a team every once in a while.
Yeah, and you mentioned Blake Lizotte, and I know I had mentioned on the show a couple times his importance.
Yes.
Just to put it into perspective, he went down against the Dallas Stars on December the 7th. He was out for literally 3 weeks to the day. He came back on the 28th. In that time frame, they were 1-5-3 in his absence. They won They won a single game without him in the lineup. And again, remember some of those games, especially that homestand, those big blown leads on there as well. So yeah, they went 1-5-3. The only win was in a shootout against Montreal. They really hurt without him. And again, it wasn't scoring that was the problem for the Penguins, because in these games that they blew, they obviously had big leads and they were scoring a lot of goals. They just had no way to shut it down. He is the kind of guy that can right the ship if something goes wrong, if the momentum starts to slip away. He kills penalties. He wins faceoffs. He eats up big minutes on the fourth line. He makes that fourth line go, and that fourth line was so good with him there, no matter who was on the line with him, that, I don't think it's any coincidence that since he came back, they are now 2-0, but they open up his first game back with a 7-3 beatdown of the Blackhawks. And we talk about Malkin. Obviously, Malkin is a big scoring component of all this, but Blake Lizotte is such an important factor for what the Penguins do, and it was so good to have him back in the lineup. And I absolutely don't think it's any mistake or any coincidence that he comes back and the Penguins boat race a Blackhawks team, a team they should boat race. But again, the Penguins have struggled against teams that are worse than them, but they come out and they leave no doubt in this one. And just a good all-around performance. Great to have Blake Lizotte back on the ice. And I mean, there was no better result coming out of what was a long break. And we said maybe they just needed to get away from everything for a couple of days. And that's what happened. They got away from the rink. They were with their families celebrating the holidays, and they come back looking like they had a week off, fully refreshed, and then just take it to the Blackhawks in Chicago. So, a nice, just good, solid performance from the Penguins to get the schedule back up and rolling.
Yep, great performance all around. You liked what you saw out of everybody. You had offense trickling in from throughout the lineup.
Yeah.
Obviously, the story was Brazeau getting his first career hat trick. And, I mean, dude, I think he needed that more than anyone. He was off to such a heater at the start of the year. Almost where you're like, the shoe's got to drop here, man. This guy isn't going to score. He's not going to get like 90 points this season. But he was like, what, a point per game or something like that?
He was close to it, yeah.
If not,
he was close to it,
right there. And then this game, he explodes for 3 goals. And, they don't ask you how, they ask you how many. And these weren't snipes bar down or anything, but this is a big man using his hockey IQ and physicality to get to the front of the net, and he put the puck past the goal line. That's all that really matters, man. Yeah. And good for him, dude. Like that's and we'll get to it soon, but I don't believe the scoring doesn't stop for him that night either. Mantha's looking good, man. Like they're missing Malkin, and him and Mantha are clicking. These guys are they probably looked at each other after that first game back and go, are we best friends? Like, like it's just like, did we just become best friends? Like those two monsters are like I said, they're clicking again, man. And it helps when it's not just one line going offensively for this team, because we know how that goes. But Achari scoring. You've got
he scored in this game too. Yep.
You've got Achari fighting. You've got he didn't need to. I think Connor Murphy wanted to get his team going. Says let's go. 6'4" right-handed defenseman. Achari's 5'10". He's built like Julian Edelman.
Yeah.
And he goes him, and it's a good spirited bout. I like everything that game. I liked. There's not a lot to take away from. Artie Shilov's looking good.
Shilov's look pretty good. Yeah. Outside of again the goal by Perduzzi came with less than a second left. The other goal with Wyatt Kaiser, it was already 6-1 at that point. The only goal I was a little concerned about was, Foligno scored halfway through the second period, and it was just more of a trauma response to how the games have been going for the Penguins.
Yeah.
But all credit in the world, they give up that goal, and then less than 2 minutes later, Brazeau scores on the power play, and then he scores again less than a minute later to make it 6-1. So it goes from 4-1 to 6-1, advantage of the Penguins in the blink of an eye. So great response, the complete opposite to what we had seen from them earlier in the month. But yeah, Justin Brazeau, after this game against Chicago, his 11th goal of the season, that tied a career high. So yeah, and he did that. Like his other career high was 11 in 20. His career, he had 11 goals last season. But he did that in 76 games. This time he scores 11 goals in 23 games. It does make you think where he'd be right now if he didn't get injured and miss all that time. But hey,
you never know.
Yeah, he is. Again, he's not a sniper, but his hands for a guy that size are pretty remarkable. You just don't see guys that size be able to move that fluidly with the puck. So it's really fun to see a guy like that break out. He gets into a good situation, a rebuilding situation where there's not much pressure, and he's asked to kind of, again, it was all basically happenstance that he ever got the shot to begin with. Brian Rust gets injured late in training camp. They just bump Brazeau up there to take some shifts until he can come back, and all of a sudden he is tying career highs in goals less than a quarter of the way into the season. So a great showing from Brazeau in this game. There was a video after the game. They gave him the hard hat for the game. Obviously, when you score 3 goals, you're probably going to get that. But he stood next to Sidney Crosby, and Crosby's not big. He's 6 foot. Brazeau towered over him like he was standing next to a kid. Justin Brazeau is a freakishly large human being, and I'm glad he's in Pittsburgh. He seems like everybody loves him. He's only 27. He has another year on this contract. So what we've seen out of him, you could end the season right now, and his grade from me is an A+. You can't
Totally.
A++, whatever you want to give him. But from else from this game, Brian Rust gets a pair. Mantha, who's just on an absolute tear this season, one of the Penguins' best forwards. And we kind of said when he was signed, if the knees hold up, Anthony Mantha's still a very, very good hockey player. It's just all about his health. And he's been healthy this year, knock on wood. He gets his 12th of the year to start the scoring. And then Noel Acciari gets rewarded for a solid game with his third of the season and a point for a guy we have not mentioned much this season because of injuries and how the roster's shaken out. But 2 assists on the night, it was Jack St. Ivany.
Yep. Our guy, Jack St. Ivany, man. He stepped in, and he's looking like he's not looking. He looks as though he's not going to be giving up that right shot, third pairing spot.
Yeah.
I mean, Clifton at times has – I like what Clifton can bring every once in a while. He doesn't bring a lot of size, but he brings – he knows how to hit. Jack St. Ivany is – he plays with anger. If you watch his shifts when he's down low protecting a puck or whatever, when he's in his own end, he does some legal stick work. He looks like he plays pissed off, and the Penguins need a guy like that. He's young. They signed him to this contract for a reason, and I don't see why, barring injury or a complete just soiling of himself game-wise, why he'd come out at this point. Him and Ryan Shea, Ryan Shea is probably the best defenseman, not point-producing defenseman on the back end, but him and Ryan Shea, if they need to shut something down and get a puck out of their zone late in the game, I'm looking at Lizotte, Acciari, Dewar, Shea, and Jack St. Ivany. So I love the kid's game, man.
Yeah, and then that bottom pair of Shea and St. Ivany, they had 5 assists in this game. They played almost 20 minutes of ice time. A really, really good game from them, and hope that keeps up, because if those two can just find something, it definitely helps the Penguins in a big, big way going forward. And a very good showing here in Chicago, a 7-3 win. Great way to open up the post-holiday section of the schedule. And when I looked at this week's schedule, I saw the Chicago game, and I'm like, all right, that's a great way to kind of get your feet wet coming out of the break, because after that I saw Carolina and then home and home with Detroit on Thursday and Saturday. And Detroit is playing good hockey this year, but Carolina not only playing good hockey, an absolute thorn in the Penguins side the last couple years. And they are missing Jacob Slavin and Seth Jarvis from the lineup. But the Penguins can't control that, but what they could control is what they did on the ice tonight, and they just go and beat the living crap out of the Carolina Hurricanes.
That one felt good, Robbie. That
was one that I'm just like, they just find a way to struggle against this team. It's just one of those times or one of those teams that just gives them issues no matter how good either side is. They find a way to make it annoying for the Penguins, but all credit to the Penguins. They go out there and they score early. They score often. They get another big lead, and they, again, close the door on a very good Carolina team and make it 2-0 out of the Christmas break with a 5-1, again, runaway victory over the Hurricanes.
Yeah, man, like I said, that one felt good because it just seems that they just can't really beat the Carolina Hurricanes. But, it was when I saw Rust hit that post like 15 seconds into the game, he clinks one off the post, and I go, okay, they're out. They're looking to get on the board here early. Usually it's Carolina that puts it to you early, maybe not even necessarily against the Penguins, but just in general, if you watch their games, they get on the board early, and they know how to kind of keep a lead too, man. Like, they can exhaust a team. They're an exhausting team to just watch, just the way that they work out there. Rob Brindamore, he's a hell of a coach, but that system doesn't look easy to play. My point being was, like, the Penguins, they kind of put it to the Carolina Hurricanes early and got on the board early and often. And that team just, the one thing that in the playoffs you hear about, I don't think I'm necessarily in a position to be complaining about the playoff woes of the Hurricanes right now, being a Penguins fan, but I will say that they've historically lacked that, like, explosive firepower to just kind of, like, really come back. If they can get on the board early, they kind of have the advantage in keeping a lead. But yeah, the Penguins put them in a vulnerable spot, one that they're maybe not super comfortable playing. And again, it was it was Brazeau, it was Mantha, it was the power play got on the board, which the power play has really quieted down over this stretch here. We mentioned how important Lizotte was. Lizotte isn't on the power play, but you got the big guy Mantha out there getting on the board on the power play. That's big. Raquel looks like, we forget Raquel missed a long time, man. And I don't want to say he came out of the gates maybe trying a little bit too hard. I'm not necessarily saying that. I wouldn't be surprised if that was kind of what was going on with him. He needs to go out there and make a difference right away, getting slotted up there with Sid basically right off the bat. Yeah. But I think Raquel's starting to click. You saw it on that assist he had with Sid. That was unreal, eyes in the back of his head. Just that happened so quickly. You have to be so smart and ready for that play, and it's on a tee for Sid. And that was the first goal of the game. So just a lot of stuff going right in the first period for them. And the Penguins have known how to do things, get off on the right foot, I should say, in the first period this season. It's about closing the game out. But man, was that fourth line noticeable again today in any and all situations. That Dewar, Achari, and Lizotte line. The Penguins just kind of keep tacking on the offense, and when they need a clear, when they need a puck out of the zone, it's the same. Kulak, I thought, had a strong game today. I thought Kulak and Letang's pairing, that pairing has been Letang has been a thorn in the defensive side. I'm not just going to be honest. This year, he's been pretty brutal defensively, but to get the dub today, him and Kulak were good. St. Ivany and Shea were good. And man, it was just a solid all around effort from this team. And man, I couldn't be happier with the 2 points. What were your thoughts on the game, Robbie? What did you see out there?
A team that, after everything they've gone through this month, looks like they needed that time away from the ice. Sure. A team that's refocused, a team that has energy again, a team that knows that, I think very much, that they're in the mix for this entire thing. Crosby comes out, gets goal number 21 on the season to start the scoring. Brazeau gets another one to set what is now a career high in goals. Mantha stays hot. Novak is up to 7 goals. And then Mantha again wraps up the scoring. Stuart Skinner was fantastic in this game, stopped 27 of 28 shots. It's really funny that with all the talent that Carolina has, the only goal they scored comes from former Penguin Mark Jankowski.
I didn't even think that guy was going to be in the league after
in 2025, the end of 2025. Mark Jankowski still scoring goals in the NHL. Pretty remarkable. But no, Brazeau, a nice showing in this one again. A goal and an assist. Mantha with 2 goals. Skinner
That tic-tac-toe from Mantha to Brazo back to Mantha was unreal.
Yeah. When you got again, Brazo's playing with just insane confidence right now. Mantha, the skill's always been there. It's just about the health. So full hope that he can stay healthy as we go along here because he's just playing really good hockey. Up to 14 goals now. I believe he's the second leading goal scorer on the team behind Crosby, who has 21. But no, they're just they look like a renewed team. They shut their brains off for a couple days, and have just come refocused. A win against Chicago is one thing. Chicago's not a good team. Even the Penguins, this Penguins team is a team they should handle, especially if they want to be in the playoff conversation come April. But to go out there and to body a Carolina team that has given them fits and is a really good Carolina team just in general, even without Slavin and Jarvis, to go out there, post 5 unanswered to open the game, and then again see it out with very little sweating involved, was extremely positive. And it's really hard to say how good Penguins fans should be feeling as we get ready to head into the new year now, because before Christmas things were not good. Like I won't beat around the bush on it. It wasn't good. There was a lot of frustration, a lot of pent up angst with how the Penguins were playing.
I think there was a scout or two that said, Dubas said, "Why don't you go check out that Gavin McKenna kid down the street there in Penn State?"
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what was said behind the scenes, but whatever it was, it seems to have given them a reset after the Christmas break, and they've come out on fire since then. And it has been great to see because we so desperately needed to get this section of the schedule off on the right foot. You have about 5 weeks until the Olympic break. So you just got to find a way to stack wins. And you're going to have to beat good teams at some point. So they start off what is a rather difficult week outside of Chicago with a big win against Carolina, and gives them good momentum going into the home and home with Detroit on New Year's Day and then on Saturday.
That it does, man. So they play New Year's Eve, or no, New Year's Day.
They play New Year's Day at 7:00. It's almost like a normal game. And then the blessed Saturday noon Eastern puck drop again in Detroit. So we know how those game will go well. Yeah, we know how those go for the Penguins. Here's to hoping they can find something, some kind of magic in that one, because they play 1, 2, 3. They play 4 weekend afternoon games this month. So they're gonna have to, if they want to have a good month, they're gonna have to find a way to win those games somehow. But you're coming into an important portion of the schedule. You want to be in good position come the Olympic break, and they're gonna have a lot of chances to do so. But right now, as we wrap up this calendar year, I think Penguins fans got to be happy with not only how they played these last 2 games, but if we're looking at as a whole, where they've come since October. I mean, I don't think any of us really figured they were going to be in a thick of a playoff conversation come New Year's. But I never thought they were going to be bottom 5 bad, but to be this thick in the playoff conversation at this point, I think is a win from my point of view.
Oh, you'll take it every day. You take this all day, every day, Robbie, where they're at right now, especially considering the expectations coming into the season. So I wanted to ask you, though, we kind of forgot to touch on it. This is Stuart Skinner's first win as a Penguin. And you hear him talk about in the post game. Yeah. He says, this was my first game after I finally moved. I think to sum it up, he basically said, this is my first game since I've actually found a home in Pittsburgh, like a place my family and I are sleeping and staying. And he had both his kids in the crowd for the game, and he looked rock solid, man. Like that was At first I was like, did we just get basically a worse version of Jari in that trade? But the Penguins weren't playing good in front of him. That would have been mean to say, Robbie. I knew that it would take a few games to get things ironed out. His whole life got flipped upside down. He's literally from Edmonton, dude, and he got traded over here. So, but I thought he looked so solid and steady in net. There wasn't any, it looked like, he was making the easy play. The easy saves looked easy, and he was stopping everything that came at him, basically. So, except that Jankowski, I thought maybe, they said it on the broadcast, and it was very evident. He looked like he was, he went down a little too early, and Jankowski, of all people, picked a corner over his left shoulder. So, not going to fault him too much for that. It's not, he's not going to shut out every game, but, I thought he looked super good, man. And right now when you've got Artie Shelov's kicking and you've got Jordan Skinner looking like a Jordan Skinner. Stuart Skinner. These names, man, I'm turning into Don Cherry. You've got Stuart Skinner looking like that, dude. Let the prospects cook down in Wilkes-Barre, and the team's got to play good in front of them. That's always been the secret for the Penguins goaltending. You don't have a Vasilevsky or a Bobrovsky in net. They only make a couple of those every generation. And these guys are looking solid right now, man. And that's what you want. They look rested. They look focused. They look solid. What do you think of Skinner's performance tonight? And what do you see for him going forward?
Well, this was quite obviously his best performance since coming over. And again, it's easy to judge on the surface of like how he's played since coming over, that it's just Stuart Skinner. This is what you should expect, so on and so forth. He was traded, basically out of the blue. Those rumors of Jari had basically kind of quieted a little bit. And then next thing you know, the trade happens and Stuart Skinner's on his way to Pittsburgh. He's from Edmonton. Like, that is where he's born and raised. That was his hometown. That he played for his hometown team. He had sent them, or he had basically been in net for them for back-to-back Stanley Cup final appearances. Obviously, there's always been qualms about his quality up there amongst the Oilers faithful. Again, is he going to win a Vezina? No. But he was thrown into, like, again, it's a tough time of year with families and holidays and just so much going on. He's the only place he's ever known is Edmonton, and then he's getting shipped across the continent to Pittsburgh. And you're kind of discarded at that point. Like, it wasn't like he was traded for a bunch of prospects or as like a rental. Like, he was kind of discarded by the only team he's ever known for his own replacement. And I'm sure the emotions were running crazy. He had to sort a bunch of stuff out with travel and lodging and just meet all these new guys. That would mess with just about anyone. And then he's not playing every night because of Artur Shelov's. And yeah, I think it just took some time for him to settle in and kind of get used to it. And hopefully that break gave him a chance to kind of acclimate and kind of get some family time and just rest and relax and focus. Because in his first start since coming out of the break, he looked fantastic tonight. 27 of 28 stopped. It took a perfect shot from Mark Jankowski to beat him. Yeah, it took a good shot from Mark, but no, it beats him clean. Whatever. You still post a .962 save percentage. You only give up a goal against a good team, and it's at home. And you kind of, hopefully this is the start of a more consistent good play. But man, that guy's been sent through the ringer like the past 3 weeks, and that includes like having to face his old team like days after being traded. A lot going through his mind that hopefully he's had a chance to settle and kind of make this his home a little bit, and hopefully that translates to more consistent good play. And tonight is the start of that.
For sure, man. Happy for the guy, and he looked good in there. And I don't know if I'm in the minority of fans on this, but Robbie, like, if depending on how the season's got to shake out, man, like you said, we're 23 games into the season, but like, I'm not down on the idea of re-signing Skinner if he's young, he's big. Like, if he can put together some solid performances, and just we'll see where the season goes. But like, I'm not one of those guys that's like, we need to flip him at the deadline. I mean, we've got Dubas just keeps playing with us and giving us interesting goalie options, since departing with like Jari and Smith, like whatever year that was now. It's like, we've got prospects, we've got guys. We got that one dude we haven't even seen yet in the NHL. We got from someone's farm system. He's been down in, I believe, the ECHL, but last year he was in Wilkes and he had a great record too. Do you remember who I'm talking about? I think he's like a Swedish fella.
Oh, not Larson.
Philip Larson.
Yeah, he played. Well, he did come in relief tonight. It was not a great night for Wilkes-Barre. They got run out of the building, and I believe Murashov got pulled. But Philip Larson is getting looks at Wilkes-Barre right now. He's like the third guy in between Joel Blomqvist and Sergei Murashov.
I mean, the Penguins just have a bunch of lines in the water as far as goaltenders, and it sounds like Dubas is just like, whoever kind of wants it, show me what you got, and if you're solid, we're going to give you your looks. But yeah, man, I'm not one of those people that's like, we got to flip him at the deadline. Like, I get the contract and everything is he's a free agent at the end of the year. That makes sense. If there's a move to be made there, I trust, at this point, I kind of just trust Dubas and whatever. I'm kind of on the, I'm a Dubas faithful at this point, which I never in my life a few years ago thought I'd ever say such words. But yeah, man, I'm cool with maybe resigning the guy. Like, if he can put together some solid performances and give us a little faith. I love the Stu chants. Out here in Seattle, they do the Gru chants for Grubauer, but I like hearing the Stu chants when he gets a save. That's got to be good for the ego for him too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's always great to have your name chanted by your hometown fans in a celebratory manner.
In Pittsburgh, I kind of feel like he just kind of looks. He's got the huge mustache. Like, he just kind of looks. I kind of like the look. So
he definitely looks like a match. Yeah. If he went out to like your local grocery store, not too many people, he wouldn't look too out of place. Again, he's from Edmonton, which is spiritually like Midwest Canada. I mean, it's kind of spiritually spiritually Pittsburgh of Canada, kind of, I guess.
If you saw him at a pub in the outskirts of Pittsburgh, you wouldn't look at him like you don't belong.
No,
here.
The only thing that would throw you off is I'm sure he has a Canadian accent outside of a.
And I also think he's like 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, I mean, he's absolutely huge. Like, he's not like that's what kind of like you kind of forget, like, athletes, they can look normal, but then you're like, oh wait, this guy's like built like a fucking tree. Like, he's not. Yeah, he's not normal size human. That'd be like Justin Brazeau. Like, okay, could probably get away looking like a normal person until you like get up to him and he's like 6'7". You're like, okay, he either plays basketball for the college or
you're like, that guy is somebody.
Yeah, that guy is somebody. He's not just in Pittsburgh. Yeah,
plays for one of the one of the astute sports franchises.
Yeah, he's way too big to be just a normal Western Pennsylvania boy, but. No, I mean, yeah, it was great to have Stewart come into this game, play this game, and look like a guy that could make a big difference for the team. And as for the rest of the season, yeah, he's going to be here. I don't see them trading him. But how it plays out, I guess we'll see. They're going to have decisions to make regardless. And if Skinner puts together a solid second half of the season here, maybe we can discuss a 1-year contract or however they want to do it. But no, tonight was yeah. Tonight had to feel good for him after everything he's been through the past couple weeks. And again, good to backstop a big Penguins win and keep the good feelings rolling here as we get ready to move into the new year.
Absolutely, Robbie. And I think, before we start to wind this episode down, I'm just going to hit you with it straight up. How are you feeling about the acquisition of Yegor Chinnikov, former first-round pick of the Columbus Blue Jackets? I believe he was 21st overall pick. Maybe was he right around there? He was
he was in that area, yeah.
I don't want to say extremely highly touted, but he was a prospect of theirs. Let's call him and for Columbus, let's call him a blue chip prospect. And the Penguins send over Danton Heinen, a 20, I don't know the dates. I'm just literally shooting from the hip right now. I remember it was like a 4th round pick and a 2nd round pick. For this player. He's a left shot forward. He's got a little bit of bite to his game. He's underperformed, I think, by his standards, just in general in Columbus. And he's really underperforming this year. Russian kid with a ton of skill and a wicked shot, a wicked release, and a wicked one-timer. Where are you at with this move? Walk us through what were your initial thoughts when you saw this come across the ticker, whatever day that was? Is that yesterday?
Yeah, I believe it was Monday. It was just kind of out of the blue. Like, I did not expect a trade to be happening right now. But Chinnikov is the kind of player that a team like the Penguins are in position to take a swing on. You have plenty of assets, draft capital that you can move and still be fine in the long run. And he's the kind of guy, he's cheap, he's still young, that maybe he's a changer. You hope that he's a change of scenery type of player, and he comes in and makes a difference. He finds his game, and he clicks. And he didn't play against Carolina. He wasn't available for this game. I would assume that he will be available for Thursday's game against Detroit. But
I think they said he's playing Thursday.
Yeah, so he's the kind of guy that the Penguins is the perfect kind of player the Penguins are in position to take a swing on and hope that it can work out. They've done so with Tommy Novak. They've done so with Phil Tomasino. Novak is definitely paying some dividends. Tomasino was good for a little while until it just kind of didn't work anymore. But no, Chinnikov is a kind of guy where he's a low risk, high reward kind of player. I don't think you're giving up all that much. And again, if that 2nd round pick if it comes to it, is probably something you can recoup at the trade deadline if you're in position to trade assets with. I think it's completely, it's definitely Kyle Dubas's MO. It's definitely right up his alley to make that kind of move. And he's had success with these kind of moves. So I'm going to side with it being a good move, just because it's been a part of a pattern of what Kyle Dubas has had success with here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with you, Robbie. I think it's a Dubas-esque move right now, and it's an appropriate one, I think, for where the Penguins are at, just with their, the overall kind of like age of the veterans, kind of the young guys they've been bringing in. Like, it's very reminiscent of, like a Rutger McGroarty type trade where they traded Braden Yeager, the Tomasino, the Novaks, like you mentioned. People were losing their mind over giving up a 2nd round pick for this guy. This isn't like a 3rd rounder that had like one good season and he's underperforming. This was a 1st round pick. And they had high hopes for him in Columbus. It just seems like, he's not entering bust territory essentially, because he shows flashes of that 1st round pedigree. The way I see it is you're not getting Yegor Chinnikov for Danton Heinen, who I've been fatigued by, just to give him a boot on the way out. I've been fatigued. Every time I see his name in the lineup card, I go, you don't want to take a chance on any other young person out there. You're going to throw Danton Heinen in the lineup. But you're not going to get the deal done with just Danton Heinen. You're probably going to be looking at a 2nd round pick just for the pedigree of this young player. And if you got to throw in a 4th to get the trade over the line and get it done, I say, why not? The Penguins have so many picks, man. And a 2nd round pick, if that's what turns around and bites you in the butt in 10 years, then that's what kept you from getting it. And it's a crapshoot anyways. So I don't think it's really worth fretting over. I think I like the move just for a little bit of excitement. We don't really have the trade deadlines like we used to. We don't even really have the free agent frenzies like we used to. So when it's your team involved and you're getting a player that's had a little bit of buzz around him, maybe a little bit more of, I'd say noise is maybe more the word, not buzz, but he's wanted out for a while. I think he wanted out even last year. I always have been also of this like feeling, and I don't know if you've ever felt this, but I've always wanted like Malkin to have a Russian with him. I don't know if that would equate to much on the ice. I don't know if that equates to much in the locker room. Not to say Malkin hasn't had Russians to play with over his career, but for some reason in my mind, I like the idea of having a young Russian player with a guy like Evgeny Malkin in the locker room. And Malkin can go, you know what? You grew up playing a certain way. He's from Omsk, Russia. Malkin might be able to get in the kid's ear and be like, hey man, like, I know you got all the skill in the world. It hasn't been working out for you. Like, I had to take my licks from coaches too. Like, I wanted to play a certain way, but I've got 3 rings and I've got a Conn Smythe, and maybe he can say, I can see a little bit of you and a little bit of me in you. And this is what you got to do to be successful in the NHL, man, because he was playing, that Chinnikov was playing with a couple of really skilled Russians, Marchenko and there's another one over there, pretty skilled guy. Maybe when you're with a couple of guys that are kind of more your age, you don't get those like words of wisdom that maybe Malkin can dish out to him. Maybe that's that's wishful thinking. Maybe Malkin will just give him the cold shoulder and say like, dude, I got 3 rings and a Conn Smythe, like chill out. Just because we're Russian, we're not going to be, stallmates basically. Like, I don't know how all that works, but in my head, I've always thought maybe if you could get a young Russian kid under Malkin's wing, in my head, my theory would be, why wouldn't that be a plus and maybe get the most out of a guy like Yegor Chinnikov?
Yeah, it definitely doesn't hurt to try. I mean, Malkin had the kind of mentorship with Sergei Gonchar. So Malkin now in his at the end of his career gets a chance to hopefully mentor a new generation of Russian, I don't want to say superstars, but a guy that can contribute and be a help to a team like the Penguins. And yeah, we'll see. He should hit the ice on Thursday night for the Penguins. And we'll see, we'll kind of monitor the situation, see how he performs, because it's a pattern that fits what Dubas is trying to do. And yeah, it's kind of right up his alley. And when I read more about it, did not really surprise me that this is a guy that they try to target.
Totally. I'd wondered before if the Penguins would throw their name in the hat for a guy like him. I do not watch a ton of Columbus games. I don't. I had to do a little bit of Googling when I saw the trade go down. But yeah, man, I think we're on the same page. It's an interesting move, and we'll see what happens. If he ends up in the AHL, like with Tomasino playing on the line, would you be shocked? Probably not. But maybe he could. If he could just replace Danton Heinen's production, I'd consider it a win.
Yeah, I mean, the bar there is not high, so if he can get numbers above that, definitely call it a win.
Call it a win. Well, Robbie, that's all I really got, man. Did you have anything else you wanted to add for this evening's episode?
No, the Penguins, they win their first 2 games coming out of the Christmas break, and now they sit back and prepare for 2 against Detroit later this week. Again, 2 more tough tests, but hey, they got to be feeling good right now, and hopefully we get some repeat performances heading into the new year.
Hopefully, man. Excited for that game. Hope they keep it rolling.
Yep. So, yeah, that is all we got for this episode. This will be, as I said at the beginning, our final episode for 2025. So, everybody out there listening, have a safe and happy new year. Don't do anything stupid. Enjoy it. And Snail, if you're done, I'm done. We will talk to you guys in 2026. So strap in, because the schedule in January is busy. So we'll have plenty to talk about. But for Snail, I'm Robbie. You guys have a happy new year, and we'll talk to you when the calendar hits 2026.